Hello and welcome to this late morning taste challenge. We have two Kentucky straight rye whiskeys with no age statement. Now this is Woodford Reserve Rye. Not sure when it hit the market, but I think it's older than 2015, which is when Beam Rye hit the market. But the whole Woodford Reserve line didn't start till 1996. But anyway, this is the rye. It's a half-size bottle, but I got two halves to make a whole. And they were $6.99 each at Savannah Discount years ago. So $6.99, $13.98. So that's an unheard of price for Woodford Reserve Rye, $13.98. Today it would cost, let's look it up, Total Wine and More. It would have cost a lot more then. I don't know why they had it so cheap, but we didn't. My friend David found their double OA cheap. I didn't buy it. That I bought. So here's Jim Beam Rye. Introduced 2015, no age statement, 90 proof, 90.4 proof, so a little higher than 45% alcohol and exactly 45% alcohol. This is the newer bottle here. There was a more skinnier cylindrical bottle at the beginning of this series. And before 2015, it was a yellow bottle, which I've seen photos online, but never in real life. You might be able to find the older Jim Beam rye bottle at some stores. I've had some bad times with the ryes. No, I've enjoyed them. I've had some bad times trying to tell them apart, one from the other. I'm 0-3, 0 wins, 3 losses. The Jim Beam Rye, that's a twist cap, plastic twist cap. This is a cap, and it is a cork, a real cork too, a real hunk of cork, not the pressboard cork, you know. I did the Jim Beam Rye versus Old Overhaul, black label, 80 proof, got it wrong. Then I went with the red cap, the black cap and then the red cap, the 86 proof, got that wrong. Then I did the George Dickel Rye, got that wrong. So now my confidence level is 0. But maybe these last 5 challenges, I'll get it right, and then I'll finish with 5 wins and 3 losses. Not a great record, but not terrible. Okay, and these rye whiskeys, they tend to be similar one to the other. You say, well, I would say, yeah, well, bourbon too, though, sometimes, yes. Let's see. Woodford Reserve Rye. $30, $29.99. So that's your price. Now, 3 years ago, it might have been $27.99, you know. But size bottles are $16.49. So you're going to pay more if you get a smaller bottle, more per ounce. So $16.49, but I got mine for $6.99. Now, even with inflation, that's a great deal, you know. So craziness, huh? Okay, well, let's do the taste challenge. When you see these deals, you got to jump on them because you're never going to see it again. You say, I'm going to go back to the store later. No, later on, it ain't going to be there. Like when we found the Bushmills Red Bush, $9.99, Savannah Discount. Cases of it, $9.99. I said, I'm buying a bottle. My friend David said, you know I am. Then later he calls me that same day, Saturday. I'm going back to Savannah Discount. I said, you going back over the river, cross the bridge? There's 2 bridges you could take. One downriver, one upriver, but it's equal distance from where he lives. But I said, You going back? He said, yeah, I got to get another bottle of that Red Bush because it was $11 after tax. I said, I can understand. He said, I'll pick you up on. I said, no, I can't get all of this, volume like you have. I'm not running a museum. I'm doing a tasting facility. But he loves his hobby. But anyway, his museum hobby, which works fine with liquor. Works terrible with beer. I tell him you're ruining all your beer. But it doesn't matter. I didn't buy it. Okay. A lot of wood, a lot of charred oak, and rye bread. I don't think either one of you is super high rye. The Woodford Reserve is 53% rye grain. The other 47% is stuff like malted barley and corn. But it could be any grain, wouldn't matter. Could be rice. If you wanted to use that. You could use wheat if you felt like it. My guess on Jim Beam is probably maybe the minimum, 51%, but I don't know. I really don't know. Okay. Neither does anybody else. If they tell you they know, you need to ask them, where's your source? Oh, I know somebody that works in the industry. Oh, well, it's not a reliable source because who is the person? What's their name? How long have they been in the industry? What is their phone number or their address? I'd like to call them and ask them about it. If they can't give you a source, then it's not. It's like the news, they'll say, we have a source tells us that Trump did this and that. Oh, yeah, who? Just somebody. Okay. Could be true. Could be a just made up story, All right. The aroma here is, well, frankly, in my mind, the same. Sorry, but they just smell the same. Charred oak and rye bread. Maybe a rye bread crust. So let's go with the taste. Let's see what happens. The next time we come back to these, which hopefully is Saturday, we're going to try to do Jack Daniels, another Brown-Forman product. Jack Daniels rye, which I think they say is 51%. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But they got the mash bill, I think, on Jack Daniels' website, yes. And when you hear what deal we got on that, you won't believe it, but it's the true story. And it was from the great Savannah Discount, the legendary liquor store on Louisiana Highway 45 northbound in Marrero, Louisiana. Not too far from the other legendary store, Discount Depot. Vanilla, minty, rye, spice, peppery, like black pepper, rye, spice. Yeah, just, I got the website links there if you want to look at those, see what you think. But it's just tastes like rye whiskey. I like rye whiskey. If you ask me what's your favorite type of whiskey, rye might be number one, maybe Scotch, but not bourbon. Same thing. Charred oak, vanilla, rye bread crust, a little black pepper spice, a little mintiness, maybe a little more proof here. Maybe it tastes a little stronger, but 90.4 proof versus 90. That's not a big difference, Jeep and Foodie says, checking in, Ron. Wonder how this one will work out. Well, if it works out like the last three, it'll be a failure. But okay. Now, I know the argument could be made, well, it's a 50-50 shot. Whether you base it on what you know or you're just flipping a coin, you still got a 1 out of 2 chance. It's good odds. So you can't really say, oh, I'm so good at it because you get. Okay, I understand that. But I'm trying to base it on just tasting it, not, oh, let me just take a guess, a wild guess. That would be like flipping a coin, just taking a wild guess, basing it on nothing. And then you could still say, I get it right half the time. Yeah, well, that's your probability rate. I would like to get it correct 100% of the time. Yeah. Now, which one tastes better? Well, guess they about the same, and that argues strongly in Jim Beam's favor. I just looked at the Total Wine and More website, right? They have Woodford Reserve Rye for $29.99 a bottle. But that same store has Jim Beam Rye for $17.49. Do you really want to pay $12 more per bottle? You say, well, Woodford Reserve is a much higher grade, more respected brand of whiskey. It's like the Michelob of Jack Daniels. You know what I mean? It's the above premium brand. I know that's why they came up with the whole concept. But on the other hand, I'm talking about what I'm tasting right now, and I'm not tasting any kind of appreciable difference. So that would say that Jim Beam wins by default. Like Carlo Rossi used to say, if you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference? And certainly that's almost an impossible thing to argue against. You know, it's almost impossible to argue against that. Now, you could bring in other factors like, well, I collect bottles, so I need a Woodford Reserve bottle for my collection. Okay, well, that's different. But if you're just purely a drinker and a taster, and you can't taste the difference, why would you pay $12 more? Why would you pay $2 more? Why would you pay $1 more? Now, if you never tried the other one, okay, that's different. You say, well, I want to try it. But we're talking about just with normal purchases where you've tried them both and you can't tell the difference. Yeah, I would say, yeah. It's like Natural Ice versus Budweiser. Do I like Budweiser? Yeah. Do I like Natural Ice? Yeah. So why do I buy Natural Ice all the time? Well, it's $20, $49 to 30 pack. Budweiser is like $23 a 24 pack. So I'm not going to pay $23 for 24 cans when I of 5% lager when I can pay $20.49 for 30 cans of 5.9% lager, which is not better than Budweiser, but it's no worse. They're a tie. They're equally well made. And I enjoy both. So I'm going to go with the. Now, I did buy a 12-pack of Schlitz the other day. And that was $11.49. So why'd I buy that? Well, because I felt like drinking Schlitz. You know, that was a different scenario. I just wanted to drink it because I hadn't drank it and had not drunk it in a while. And I said, I kind of would like to go back to Schlitz. Yeah, it's different. But for everyday drinking, where you don't really care, you know, like when I drink the Natural Ice, it's just like I call it a standby beer. A standby beer. I just drink it. I'm not thinking about it every nuance. Like, oh, I mean, I'll do that too when I'm drinking it, but I'm not totally focused on it. With these two, Jim Beam's the clear and present winner. And I'm going to say, Jim Beam, you're the winner. And this is Jim Beam. And it is. I got it right. So now I'm 1-3. There's hope. Not much, but there's a little. Now I have 1 win and 3 losses. One thing I think that's going to help me on this is that the first 3 losses were, never mind. The first 2 losses were Beam versus Beam. And the third loss was Beam versus Diageo via contract distilling from Midwest Grain Products. So, yeah, oh, well, never mind. I hope I get it, though. Am I going to be able to tell Jim Beam Rye from Jack Daniels? I think so. But I don't know. So, and that's why we're going to do the taste challenge. What about Sazerac Rye versus Jim Beam? I can't see getting it wrong. You know, I cannot anticipate getting Jim Beam Rye confused with Sazerac Rye. Sazerac rye comes from Buffalo Trace Distillery. It's possible. Oh, also the Sazerac House in New Orleans makes Sazerac rye, but in a small volume. So it is made in 2 locations, New Orleans and Buffalo Trace in Kentucky. Just like Southern Comfort, it's made in New Orleans, but just a little bit. The rest, the vast majority is made in at Buffalo Trace. But they don't really talk about. If you go in a Buffalo Trace store, you're not going to see Southern Comfort. You're not going to see it. You're not going to see them making it. They're not going to talk about it, and you're not going to hear about it, and you're not going to taste it. Okay, just like you're not going to taste a lot of the other stuff they brew there, distill there. Not going to happen. They'll talk about ancient age. They'll talk about benchmark. They'll talk about old charter. But they ain't talking about, and they'll talk about Sazerac rye because they're proud of Sazerac rye whiskey. You know, they'll talk about, they ain't going to talk about Southern Comfort. They'll say, well, that's a New Orleans product. This is Kentucky. Even though most of it's made in Kentucky. But, you know, why go on a tour and be a pedant, you know? I know how these companies operate, you know. I didn't go on a Budweiser tour and start asking about, what about Hurricane Malt Liquor? They'd be like, security, could you get him in here? All right, so anyway, I don't think I would have gotten, or I will get, I do not think I will get the Hunter Rye from Canada, Montreal Distillery, the Sazerac's Montreal, Canada Distillery in Quebec Province. I do not think I will get that confused. And I cannot imagine that I would get Crown Royal's Northern Harvest Rye. I think it's, what, 90% rye? Confused with Jim Beam Rye. But the future is going to determine that, not me guessing. Let's close it out. Which tours have the most generous tastings afterwards? Good question. Well, you talking about whiskey tours? Or liquor in general? I thought that the Jack Daniels had horrible tastings in the sense that they give you like maybe it was an ounce of each product. When they poured that, I looked at that little cup. I said, if that's an ounce, I'm shocked. It looked like less than an ounce of the Jack Daniels Honey, Jack Daniels Regular, and so forth. Gentleman Jack. And I said to myself, people are going to ask me in the future, you ever tried Jack Daniels Honey? I'm going to say, yeah. I got it on my tongue, evaporated. So they're very stingy to me. And the tour was $17, and that was 5 years ago. So imagine what it would cost now. The tour was worth it. I mean, it was interesting. It was very interesting, but the tasting part was a joke. Now, the really generous was the Buffalo Trace and Barton when they used to give tours. Barton 1792. The tours are fabulous and free. I might add, not $17. Free. You heard me? You go to Buffalo Trace, they show you all around, and they let you see what they want you to see. You know what I mean? And but then they say, now let's taste. And they kind of like, try this, try that. Anybody want to try the vodka? Oh, you want some bourbon cream? Here's some chocolate candies to eat with it. You know, it's like cream-filled chocolate candies to eat. And they're like, try this. And they're like, look, we are not recommending that you drink and drive. This is your responsibility. What did the guy say? We assume no responsibility. You know. So they just say, try this, try that. And then you might say, oh, let me try some more of that. Oh, all right. You know, Sazerac House. You know, they're like, try this, try that, try this. It's all cocktails there, though. That's the whole point of the museum. So those are 2 good sources. Sazerac House, very generous with the tasting. And it's in New Orleans on Poydras Street, corner of Poydras and Magazine. Yes. And then I was saying Canal. I don't think it's Canal Street Magazine, but well, if you find Magazine Street, you're on the right track. All right. And Buffalo Trace. Very generous. That little craft distillery in New Orleans, 7-3 Distilling, they were pretty generous. I mean, you had to pay, like $13, but they were cool about it. Try this, try that, but they weren't like Buffalo Trace, like dumping whiskey onto you and and vodka, Wheatley vodka. All right, so there's your answer. You don't live that far. You go across the river from Kentucky, so you ought to go check them out. Okay, great news, Ron. Europe has just ended the 25% tariff on Kentucky bourbon. What does it mean? I don't know. I was just having a discussion on the establishment clause with my friend in Texas. He needed a toke. The establishment clause, yeah, very bad, misinterpreted clause. I've been to Beam. You see, the more liberal-minded, meaning socialist, communists, they'll say, well, the establishment clause means that the U.S. government has total power to do anything that they want to do, much like the Soviet Union or China during the great proletarian cultural revolution. And I would say, well, no, I don't believe that's true, unless the founding fathers were secret closet Khmer Rouge members. All right, I've been to Beam and Four Roses, says Gary. You can get a sample for $1 in an automatic machine. Nice. Oh, well, I don't know how great of a deal that is. All right, well, so I got it right now. It's going to my head. I'm getting overconfident. No way, no how. So get ready for Saturday. We have good old Jim Beam Rye, which I purchased in May of 2022 at Total Wine and More for $17.49. Still have a lot of it left, as you can well see. Drink about, 15% of it. Going up against Sazerac Rye. I can't see losing that. I'm saying that's going to be a win, and I'm going to be two wins and 3 losses. But, we'll see. 2 wins, 3 losses. And then we'll just see. Let's see. Let's take a deep breath and see what happens. All right. Thanks, everybody.